doing good today. I'm up early. I had some work to do for a client. Comes in, I have to check early every morning to see if my one of my main clients, they're on the East Coast. I'm out in California, so we have that time difference. So I had to see to make sure that they I get their work and I get on it as soon as possible. So I had to get up a little bit early, made some coffee. Now I'm down here. I decided to go ahead and jump on here and say good morning to you guys and do my daily intro about what I plan to do today. So, yes, let's see. I still am working on my three projects, two shorts and a feature. I'm going to get back onto the feature today. I made a little update to my work plan. There are some scenes and some elements that are missing. So what I'm going to do is start inserting placeholders. That's something I've always done in the past. When I'm working on projects, I like to have placeholder slates whenever I need them to remind myself where content goes. It's just a little tip, little editing tip this morning, just hit me. I thought it might be useful for some people out here who are editors and you're working on a project and there may be some scenes missing. Maybe you can't find the scenes yet or you haven't come across the scenes or there's some content that goes. Like, for example, one of the scenes I was working on yesterday had some voiceover. One of the characters could hear a voice in her head of someone talking to her. So I have to find that content. And as I edit, I will keep an eye out for that. So I put a little placeholder there. And then there was also a flashback scene that was missing that needs to be edited into that exact same scene I'm working on. So I put a little placeholder note there. So what I do is I make a blank slate and I just physically put a note, like a screen text. I usually use screen text, something that I've used in the beginning of the movie, like where the title goes. I'll duplicate that and I'll put that as a placeholder and I'll change the text to remind myself what's supposed to go in that spot. So that's a way to stay organized. And then once I review the scenes, because once I get deep into the cut, I'll definitely forget about, a little line of dialogue that goes here, a little voiceover there, a little cutaway or something I'm looking for that I haven't come across in the list of content. So when I organize the footage, sometimes there's scenes, elements of scenes that may have been shot on a different day or, need to be created. For instance, one scene that I started working on yesterday had an external shot of a remote home. And so that can be up for grabs, what the director will like. So I went around, I found a home that looked kind of remote, kind of fit the scene, I thought. So I put that in, and that also can be a placeholder. Because once the director sees it, if he doesn't like that home, then we can go, easily look for another piece of stock footage. Or if he has footage of the real home where they shot, then they can do a pickup shot, or they can, or he can just find something that looks like that home. If it doesn't really make a difference to the storyline of external shot of establishing shot of a home. So again, that's just another little trick that we use in the filmmaking business. Sometimes the establishing shots can be, just farmed from stock footage. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Just talking a little bit, I'll do a quick recap, talking about the feature film I've been editing starting last week, the week before last, and just got into editing deep into the first scene, and it's a pretty intricate project, a narrative drama, but there's some voiceover and thoughts of the inner monologue of the character that we can hear that plays to the story. So I'm just talking about putting placeholders for content that I don't know where it is yet, or content that may have to be created. It might require some voiceover from the actress that may or may not have been recorded. So I always put notes. Sometimes I'll just use markers, but sometimes markers aren't enough. So what I do is I put a black slate and I put a text file and I actually write in that text box what I'm missing. For instance, here's one, scene 5, voiceover from the daughter, for the daughter. And so I'll put that right where it goes. And then as I'm moving forward editing, I don't have to think about it anymore, because later when I go back to clean up everything, I'll see that note, and then I will go and address that issue. So that just keeps me organized. That's one little tip that I use as an editor. I actually physically put notes in the rough cut, and can't miss it because it's written right above, or there's a black slate and the note is written there. And so as I go back to clean up the project, to polish it, I'll see it, and then I can address that. Sometimes the notes are visual images that need to be found or created, and sometimes they're audio. Maybe it could be sound effects, it could be anything. Like another one just hit me right now that I didn't note. There's a doorbell, a phone ring, and I have to add that. So when I'm editing the picture, I don't add all the sweetening stuff at that time. When you're doing the initial, what I call rough cut, I do an assembly of each scene. So it's really rough. So I assemble each scene where all the elements go, and then I just keep pushing forward to each scene. And then later I'll go back, and if I need to move scenes or shorten them, that kind of stuff, I do that as the next stage. And then the next stage probably after that could be sound. Sometimes I move on to sound after I have a rough assembly, and I start putting on sound effects and room tone, atmosphere, sound. So that's another level. But I don't do that until the picture is almost not locked, but the picture is relatively close to locked. And then I'll explain this all in another video at a later date, but just gave you a little bit of notes, tips when you're editing. Don't try to do everything all at once. Even if it's a small project, for instance, say if you're editing a short film, I would say cut the video first and get all the elements down, cut everything, and then go back and start polishing it, making the minor details if you need to move scenes around, shorten them, that kind of stuff, depending upon how much latitude you have as the editor. Most of the time, and what I recommend to editors who are working for someone, follow the script with the first cut. Follow the script. Cut the film, short film or feature film, whatever, to the script, and then get back to the let the director or producer, whoever is making the final decisions, have a look at it, because you don't want to waste your time. And if you're working for someone as an editor, you don't want to get into arguments at first where you're making major decisions before they can even see it. So even if you think a scene is too long, just cut it. Cut the first cut based on the script. That's my recommendation. Unless it's your project, then you can make those big major decisions as you go along. But I'm talking to people who are editors and have clients. So you cut it first, and then you can make recommendations. You can give them the long version, the rough cut, and let them look at it and tell them up front. Make sure you tell them multiple times. That's what I do with emails. I'll say, this is the rough cut, and then in the email I'll say it 2 or 3 times. And so they'll know this is not the final project. This is not the final project. Because even though you're working for someone and you think that they have, unless you know the person and they have a history of making films and they understand what a rough cut is and they understand the process, if you're working with someone new and you're showing them a rough cut, you have to stress it so they understand this is rough. This is not the final version. Here's my suggestions. The first scene needs to be shortened. The second scene needs to be shortened. You just make your suggestions. But I recommend following the script first, putting it all together. If it's too long, it's too long. Let them look at it. Give them the opportunity to look at it and, hopefully come to the realization themselves. Oh yeah, this needs to be short. Or if you have the working relationship with them and they tell you, oh, this can only be exactly 30 minutes from opening to ending. So then you have to shorten stuff. And you keep them in a loop. Keep them in a loop, I recommend, because you don't want to frustrate yourself and you don't want to frustrate the client. So I always give them the opportunity to look at a very rough cut, and I just make sure they know. Even in the email header, I'll put, this is the rough cut. Changes will be made. Please look at this and tell me what scenes you want cut, what scenes you don't like. This is a rough cut, so that they are aware of what they're looking at. And what I do too, also to really burn it in their head. A lot of times I'll put visible code in the picture so that when we talk, they can say, oh, at 3 minutes and 34 seconds, you can cut that scene. All right, at 5 minutes and 20 seconds, delete that cutaway. You know, those kind of things. So if they have visible time code in the picture, then it's going to be easier for you and them to collaborate. Instead of them saying, when the person walks in the house and sits in the chair, cut before he sits in the chair. You need time code. You need time code. So let them know. A lot of new clients who haven't done this before won't know. Just let them know what the time code is there for and how you would like them to give you the time code back. And sometimes clients like to abbreviate the time code, which sometimes can be a pain. So I kind of tell them, please write out the full time code. I know it's hard, but I know it's a little bit more effort, but please write out the full time code. 1 hour and 22 minutes and 5 seconds. I'd like you to cut this, 55 minutes and 10 seconds and 4 frames. I'd like you to cut this. And the time code is right there. All I have to do is copy it down onto an email. And so that way you and the client can collaborate effectively. You won't be wasting time and you can make the project the way they want. So again, this is talking about working for a client who's paying you to edit, and you want to keep them in the loop. And sometimes clients may say, oh, I just want you to edit it. And so great, then you go ahead and just edit it and show it to them. Sometimes that can be good or bad, because sometimes you'll edit your version and then they'll say, oh, what happened to that scene? Oh, what happened to this scene? Now I know there was a take when the woman walked in the door and she had this great look in her eye. Then you know that they want to be more involved. And you tell them up front, I can give you the time, I can give you the raw footage of the scene, and you tell me what shots you would like to work in. And I've done that a lot with clients, because it saves me aggravation and it saves them aggravation. And it makes this, it brings them into the editing process, and some want to be involved, some don't. I've had some clients in the past say, oh, I don't want to make those decisions, you make them. But then, sometimes that works smooth and they accept what I give them. And then sometimes they'll still come back and say, oh, I don't like this shot. I think I remember we did this shot. And, so you got to play it by ear. All clients are different. Some are easier to work with. Some are more difficult. But I'm going to go ahead and get on to this project. I'd like to thank all you guys for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Oh, I want to say one thing. This Sunday at noon, Los Angeles time, here in California, I'm going to have my first horizontal live stream. It's going to be question and answer about acting, directing, and editing. If you'd like to stop by, please do. Pacific time, California time, wherever you are, noon on Sunday. And I'm going to try to do these on Sunday, about 1 hour, but I will stay on. If I have a lot of people and have a lot of questions, I'll stay on until all questions are answered. I love to talk about this stuff, acting, directing, and editing. So that's what we're going to be focusing on. I'm going to have my YouTube studio open so that I can look and see your comments down here and try to answer questions. And so, yeah, this Sunday at noon, I'm going to do my very first live stream. It's going to be horizontal. It won't be here in the shorts vertical live stream. It won't stream. It's going to be on with all the other live videos. Show up on my channel, obviously. You can see my channel down here in the link. And unedited with James Adam Tucker. That's how you can find me. And you'll see more content down here in the description about how to get to my channel. If you haven't subscribed, please go to my channel and subscribe, look around. And I'm asking people to start looking at some of my playlists. I have some playlists with lots of videos. Start looking at some of them. I'm trying to build up my watch hours, and I would like you guys, your help. I always appreciate it. I appreciate all you guys who have been subscribing to my channel. You're really helping me continue on my YouTube journey. I'm not here to try and sell you lessons about how to make it on YouTube. I'm here to create content. Hopefully humorous content. That's my main goal. And my educational content. Right now, my educational content is in the forefront. But as I continue to move forward, I'm going to create more original humorous content, horizontal limited series. And I plan to create more vertical series. I have one up right now called Everybody's the Fool. It's called Everybody's the Fool. I got to have the first episode up and two shorts that should be floating around somewhere in the shorts feed. So that's up. I have another one called Roulette, a real short one. That's, what is it? 10 short little episodes, micro episodes, limited, another limited series. It's more of a dark comedy also, but I'm planning on creating more shorts, limited series shorts that, maybe last 10, 12 episodes, something like that, with a nice beginning, middle, and end, some interesting characters. I'm meeting with, Monday, I'm shooting an introduction or like a little series based on a film I shot a few years ago. And I'm following up, a little dark humor stuff, following up with one of the actresses, the main actress who was in the film. And we're going to try to make an interesting YouTube-only series following up with the main character about how her life turned out after the film. So it's something interesting, something fun we're trying to do, see if you guys might like it. We're going to put that up here on YouTube. I'll have some vertical shorts that lead to the episodes. We're going to probably do 2 or 3 episodes on Monday, this coming Monday. And we have a location set and we're set to meet and everything like that. So stuff is happening. Stuff is happening. And this is what I hoped would happen. And it's slowly happening. Again, the big goal first is to get this monetization and then start looking for some sponsorship. But you got to create, I have to create more. I got to be realistic. I have to create more content, get more content out there, get more of you guys to like it and look at it. So I need to create good stuff so you guys will look at it. So that's my goal. I'm going to continue working forward. It's going good. It's going good. And I thank you guys for stopping in and looking at what I'm talking about. And I'm going to wrap this up now. I don't want to do my vertical live streams too long. I know they're supposed to be relatively shorts in the short feed. I went on a little bit longer this morning, and I'm glad to. A lot of you guys look like you hung on, and I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. So I'll see you later on, maybe this afternoon, but definitely, if not this afternoon, then definitely this evening to give you a recap of how my work went today. I love jumping on here because a lot of people have been discovering me on here. I've been getting a lot of my subscribers from here, and you guys get the chance to know me, hear me talk. Nothing planned, just come on, try to give you some good information. So I'm going to label this one editing tips because those were some tips that I've developed over the years about being organized while you're editing for yourself. A lot of times the client doesn't see this type of organization. Nobody sees it except for you, but it helps you. It helps you stay on top of your editing plan and helps you stay organized and edit the best you can from the content that was given to you. That's always my goal, to make the best cut out of the video that was given to me. So that's my goal. And that as an editor, if you're interested in doing that, that should be your goal too, to try to give the best content, try to create the best content from what you're given to work with. All right, I'll see you later on. I'll see you soon later on. Have a good day. Have a good day.